controversial leaders in the world: China's Xi Jinping, Russia's Vladimir Putin, and North Korea's Kim Jong-un, stood side by side at China's Victory Day parade. To many, it looked like just another grand military display. But for others, it felt like a chilling signal. A new axis of power is forming, one that could directly challenge the West. So here's the question: is this meeting just symbolic, or is it the start of a global realignment that could drag us closer to a new Cold War, or even World War III? On Thursday, August 28, 2025, Beijing was filled with the thunder of military marching bands, long columns of soldiers, and rows of tanks rolling through Tiananmen Square. It was China's Victory Day parade, marking the 80th anniversary of Japan's surrender in World War II. But this year was different. For the first time ever, Kim Jong-un of North Korea and Vladimir Putin of Russia joined Xi Jinping at the event. The images were striking. Putin, often isolated from the West after his invasion of Ukraine in 2022, walking confidently alongside Xi. Kim Jong-un, fresh from weapons deals with Moscow, smiling and waving to the crowd. Officially, China said the parade was about peace and celebrating historical victory. But let's be honest, the parade was less about history and more about geopolitics. Think about the timing. Russia is still bogged down in the war in Ukraine, facing Western sanctions and military pushback. North Korea has been accused of supplying Russia with artillery shells and missiles, fueling the war. China, meanwhile, is flexing its military and economic muscles in the Pacific, while tensions rise with the United States over Taiwan. So why are these three men standing together on the same stage? The answer is simple. They want the world to see that they're not isolated, they're united. Now let's zoom out. This isn't the first time we've seen these kinds of alliances. During the Cold War, the world was split into two camps: the US and its allies versus the Soviet Union and its bloc. But there's a twist today. China and Russia weren't always this close. In fact, during the 1960s, Moscow and Beijing were bitter rivals, even fighting border clashes. But fast forward to the 2020s, and necessity has brought them closer. Russia needs China economically to survive sanctions. China sees Russia, and now North Korea, as useful partners to push back against US dominance. And let's not forget North Korea. Kim Jong-un's regime has always been isolated. But with Russia buying weapons and giving him international attention, suddenly Pyongyang feels more relevant than ever. During the parade, Beijing rolled out some of its most advanced weaponry. DF-41 intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads were on full display. There were flyovers by China's J-20 stealth fighter jets and columns of troops trained for high-tech warfare. Kim Jong-un reportedly looked particularly pleased when Chinese and Russian missiles passed by, almost as if he was imagining them one day aimed at Washington, Seoul, or Tokyo. And here's what's interesting. While the parade was billed as celebrating peace, nearly every symbol on display screamed power projection. So what does this mean for the world? 1. A new power bloc. With Xi, Putin, and Kim together, many analysts are calling this the emergence of a new, authoritarian triangle. Their message: we can stand against Western pressure, together. 2. Russia's war in Ukraine. Putin used this event to show he's not isolated. Despite sanctions, here he is, on a global stage, with not one but two powerful allies. This could embolden Moscow to continue the war in Ukraine with renewed confidence. 3. China's role. For Xi, this is about optics. He's sending a warning to Washington. China is not alone, and if you push us on Taiwan, we have friends who will stand with us. 4. North Korea's rising profile. For decades, North Korea has been treated as a pariah state. But suddenly, Kim Jong-un is standing next to two of the most powerful men in the world. That gives him legitimacy and leverage. But here's the real question. Do you think this axis between China, Russia, and North Korea is truly strong, or is it just for show? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because honestly, the world might be underestimating just how serious this partnership could get. Now, what about the West? The United States, the European Union, and Japan have all expressed concern. Washington said the gathering sends the wrong message at a dangerous time. NATO officials have warned that if these three coordinate militarily, it could destabilize entire regions. At the same time, Japan and South Korea, Two countries directly threatened by both China and North Korea are on high alert. South Korea's Ministry of Defense said the parade shows a dangerous alignment of authoritarian states. Meanwhile, in Europe, leaders fear that Russia's growing ties with Beijing could prolong the war in Ukraine, making peace even harder to achieve. Let's put this into perspective. In 1945, the world watched as alliances shaped the outcome of World War II. In the 1950s and 60s, the Cold War divided the globe into competing blocs. Today, in 2025, are we watching the seeds of a new Cold War, or even worse, the prelude to a global conflict? The presence of nuclear powers, China, Russia, and North Korea, all standing shoulder to shoulder, is not just symbolic. Collectively, they control thousands of nuclear warheads. That alone is enough to make the world nervous. If this video was of value to you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you always get notification anytime I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.